Okay, just wanna make sure we're all good. Alright, sound-wise we're great. Hello and welcome to another video here with me. I'm yours just in the moment. Hope you guys are doing well and having a beautiful day. I need to I want to change this thumbnail real quick. If you're new, welcome to the channel. Definitely appreciate you being here, and hopefully, you definitely subscribe and stick around and enjoy what's going on. You've been with the team, the squad, the fam. Definitely welcome back. I am currently trying to mess with this YouTube situation. I guess I'll have to fix it later. But yeah, we're definitely gonna. Oh no, I can fix it here. We're picking up from where we left off. We're in Old Sharlayan, and Krile has two quests for us inside of the Baldessine Annex. Just give me 1 second. Is this the one I want to use? Yes, she has 2 quests for us inside of the Baldessine Annex, and now I have to decide whether or not we're gonna take that route. Well, which route to take, rather. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on. Just want to speed this up. Sorry, I am a bit of a mess right now. Okay, we should be good. Oh, let me turn that off. Alright, we are in the hall. Let's see what's going on. Okay. Oh, Krile has and I definitely spelled her name wrong. Let me correct that before I get blasted. I don't know how I spelled her name wrong. So it's K-R. I put a Y. Krile and Thancred has a whole thing for us. Krile along with Thancred. Just want to make sure I got the information correct. Don't want it to be misleading, because it be like that sometimes. Okay, so who do I want to pick first? Okay, Krile is here. So we'll pick hers because we're already here. Okay, an unsettling change has come over Sharlayan, but together we will divine the underlying cause for the form's callousness. As I mentioned before, however, questioning the councillors directly is a fruitless endeavor. They seem to have already come to a consensus as to what and how little they are willing to divulge, which is why I've begun scouring Sharlayan's archives of historical records for any hint of a connection to the final days. Suffice it to say that progress has been slow. There are only so many dusty pages one can skim in a day. But now that I have this band of willing reinforcements to search, should proceed all the swifter. Let us reconvene outside the oven, shall we? Exit the annex to the right, and you'll find the archives on the western edge of the woods. So we're going to go with this one first, and then we're going to jump into the next one. I could pick them up both at the same time, but I don't want to do that. And we're going to speed this process up. Nope. Oops, went to the wrong spot. be us in the past without. They give you the information as to where everything is, and I still got it wrong. Before we were just bouncing everywhere. Like, oh, went to the wrong one. Try again. Okay, my directions were easy enough to follow, I hope. In any case, you stand now before the doors of Viera Charlayan's grandest collection of books and tomes. This building is actually an entrance, and one of many for the archives of Viera extend deep beneath the surface like the roots of a tree. The vast halls of the great gaudy library pale in comparison to Viera's endless maze of subterranean chambers. Any citizen of Sharlayan is free to enter and peruse its shelves. Well, most of its shelves. Only archons are afforded access to certain restricted vaults. I've dispatched Stola and Raha to investigate those. Meanwhile, Alize and Alphino will help me continue my search through the stacks open to the general public. Your status presents more of a problem. As a non-citizen, you are only permitted to browse the first floor here at the entrance. Even so, there should be a number of books which touch upon Sharlayan's history or foreign policy. Your task will be to find and study the relevant publications, I promise you. A working knowledge of those subjects will make it far easier to spot the sort of clues we're looking for. Let us be about it, shall we? I've told the others to meet us at the stone benches over there once we've found some promising tomes. Happy reading. Let me see if my memory serves me correctly as to where the tome actually was. I don't want to say it was over there, but I think it might have been there. I'm going to try here. The title of the spine reads An Introduction to the Heavens. Read the book. Ever gazed in the skies above and contemplated the mysteries contained therein. I speak not of the sifting cloud patterns, but the vastness beyond of the sun and the twinkling tapestries of the night. Something doomed above us to be infinite, to be a finite space. Yet among the leading thinkers of our age, the scholar's depiction of the boundless sea of the stars has firmly taken root. Alas, the heavenly sea remains an unreachable, unknowable destination. There are few indeed who can explain in satisfactory detail why our own star is believed to revolve around the sun. It was the technologist of Alak who came closest to understanding the laws which govern that starry abyss. It was they who launched Dolomov, a sought to explain beyond our earthbound existence. Having read of their ancient ambitions, I wonder, has your interest in the field of study waxed or waned? What if I were to tell you that the eternal constellations were arranged differently in the distant past, that their position continued to shift amongst imperceivably measurably as we journey into the future? Would it shock you to learn that the stars drift further and further apart and may indeed do so forever? Are you eager to learn more? The book is the wrong subject. Yeah, naturally. Okay. Title of the book, Forever, 20 Summers. I think that was the one. My beloved seekers of knowledge, have you ever put learning before your health and neglected to feed and rest? Once engaged in such foolish practices, but one night, engrossed in philosophical studies, I had an epiphany. For all the world's mystery to drive us reckless abandon, we have so very few years of life to achieve our goals. No, this isn't it. Thus I do share with you the mantra, I am forever 20 summers young. The number itself is unimportant. You could be 19 or 23 or 40. Whatever age you are, you discover this manual, let that be the age you aspire to remain. Though mindful, healthy living will extend the time available to spend upon chosen research. Another day, another moon, another summer to grasp the greater truth you pursue. In the pages that follow, we will explore the secrets of maintaining this physical condition from biological, ethereological, and arcane viewpoint. That is not the book. Damn it. Is it that one? Oh, I hated having to reading all this. The voice of the growing city. Hold on. Oh, wait. Stewards of Wisdom. I don't think it was that one. It was so random. I think when I first did it, I bypassed that book. Stories of Sharlayan. Long, long ago on the island of Northern Sea, there lived a Rogan named by the name of... Yep, this is the book. Thancred. Thancred was a student of astrology and divine, but the flood of terrifying proportions would soon swoop over the land of Viera. Yep, this is the one. So it was that they built a gigantic ship, assembled a crew, and set sail that of the Imperial route. The flood arrived as foretold, and their horror and strangely churning waters drove the people towards the ocean. It was there, however, that Thancred's crew hauled them aboard his ark, but the danger had not passed. A towering wave approached, threatening to smash the vessel in pieces. With only moments to spare, Thancred wove a mighty spell of teleportation and shifted the entire ship safely atop Albathea's spine. Refugees from the surrounding regions huddled there alongside them, but it was not long before disputes over the dwindling supply of food led to violence and bloodshed. Sad by the sight, Thancred gathered to him his crew and his grateful passengers and abandoned the ark to those red peaks. They journeyed to the coast, where they built a new ship, intent upon returning to the northern seas. They landed on the beach of an island, settled upon that very spot that settlement proposed and grew, and in time became the city of Sharlayan, where we live to this day. Okay. That one. Roads of the Old Colony, that one too. Many years ago, the banks of Thaliak and the Durranian hinterlands, Sharlayan colony once thrived. This settlement was originally established as a mere outpost in the study of Thancred Sea and the sea. In the year 1311, the 6th astral era, scholars dispatched to the Eorzea found the facilities wanting, and demands encouraged the gradual expansion and structures and services. As rumors spread of a growing community of academics, the sea was further inundated with the Eorzea students. Hold on 1 second. With Eorzea students hoping to share in the renowned wisdom of Sharlayan. 50 years later, the forum passed a motion to recognize what had become a flourishing town as the official Sharlayan colony. Eorzean residents took to calling the colony itself Sharlayan, which led to no small amount of confusion when discussions turned to the subject of the motherland. In response, some Sharlayans and the Sharlayan inhabitants, if pressed for the name, would simply refer to it as Emporium. Following the Exodus, however, goblins and treasure hunters claimed for themselves a corner of the abandoned colony and gave it yet another name, Idleshire. Following chapters go on to introduce the most prominent features of Idleshire. The book does not appear to contain additional information to the form or the cover of the history of Sharlayan's motherland in greater detail. Aww. voice of a growing city. In the years following the founding of Sharlayan's civic policies and other matters of import were dedicated at the Ecclesia, a public forum at which every citizen was eligible to speak. As the city's population grew, however, this format became increasingly impractical. A large number of participants gave rise to ever-long debates, resulting in significant delays of vital resolution. Various measures were introduced into an attempt to curtail protracted decisions, but in the year of 201 of the sixth astral era, it was ultimately decreed that Sharlayan would transition to a new form of government. The nation would now be led by a body of 99 members, citizens chosen from amongst their peers by means of nationwide vote. Thus was the form as we know today, conceived and created. Okay. So this must be it. During the case of sixth Bargain became the founder of Sharlayan, bore witness to the madness and savagery of men brought to the brinks of despair, which the rising settlement of an island of the northern empty. He inducted his people thus, renounced the ways of war and pursued enlightenment through the knowledge of reason. Sharlayan took to heart the words of the Savior and therefore served as stewards of wisdom upon foundation of accumulated learning. They built a homeland unlike any other nation, born from strength of minds rather than strength of arms. With the knowledge of economics came shrewd training. With knowledge of agriculture came bountiful crops. Engineering brought wells and sewers, ending squabbles over water. Wealth of enterprise could be better than wealth of coin, and the more their wisdom spread throughout the world, the more mankind hoped. This isn't it either. Yeah, I'm gonna speed read through this. Second better tomorrow. I'll be gaining a fundamental understanding. Oh, so that was it. Oh, okay. The bountiful reading that is this expansion. Sorry, were you waiting long? Nope, just reading a lot. And a lot. Wanted to make sure I borrowed at least a few promising volumes. Alpha and Corral should also be along shortly. I was delayed in a similar fashion as far as I could see. No titles in the Arkham stacks mentioned the final days, specifically. So we have no choice but to start with the tangentially relevant tunes, if there are even that. At present, the plan is to skim through as quickly as we dare and share our discoveries as we make them. It would have been nice to invite everyone to the estate. Plenty of comfortable places to read and the ready supply of hot tea. Oh, I've always been quite fond of reading outside. But it's not about the little pleasures, is it? You miss your home. It's been difficult. After our arrival, we managed to speak with one of the family servants and ask how things were. It seems our dear father has instructed the staff that even if Alphonode and I were to return to Sharlayan, we were not to be allowed across the threshold. A harsh measure indeed. I hope that our efforts to understand his position and that of the foreign world perhaps lead to a reconciliation. We'll mend this rift one day, I'm certain of it. And what of you, Bra? Have you been to visit your family, or do they not live here in the city? Excuse me. Ah, well, my situation is also somewhat complicated. I was raised in Charlene, yes, but I was born rather further away, in the southern reaches of Isobard. In fact, for generations, my people have dwelt in um, Corvos, the coastal region opposite to the Isle of Thancred. The Alligans founded a city that was fertile land, and by ship brought the subjugated tribes, the Makote, to serve as laborers. Of course, the massive earthquakes and the Fourth Umbral Calamity brought an end to the Empire's reign, and when the Fifth Calamity froze the seas solid, many of the tribes still living in Corva braved the journey back to Eorzea. My ancestors, however, chose to remain that they might prevent the remnants of Allagan technology from being misused. Isn't Corva under Garlean rule? Corvos. For the past 50 years, yes. Some semblance of local culture remains, as the case of most imperial province, but Garlemald renamed the region Locus Amonis. Locus Amonis. When I was a boy, a nearby town came under the jurisdiction of an illustrious imperial family, the noble house of Darnus. House Darnus demonstrated a singular interest in Allagan civilizations, and so my tribe was forced to consider a plan of action. For some time already, voices have risen in favor of abandoning our ancient customs. After all, the Allagan eye no longer passed to our eldest children as reliable as it once had. Fear of discovery eventually tipped the scales, and the decision was made to bury our ties to the knowledge and traditions of Allagan. As the last child born with the Allagan eye, I was given over the custody of friends and students of the Baldessian who had registered as a Sharlayan citizen. Never considered, forgive me, was a kind question. Even Thancred was taken in by an Arkan Louisois, was he not? Stories of adopted waifs and rescued orphans are more common among Charlians than you might think. Yet regardless of our origins, we are all provided with equal opportunity to learn, and with sufficient promiscuity. Oh, my eyes itching. We outsiders can even earn the vaulted title of Arkan. 'Twas exactly what I had such love for the country, and why I wish to remain a nation of which citizens can be found. My eye is itching, I'm yawning, this is crazy. Here, another good reason I need tissue, to get to the bottom of the forum's stubbornness, aside from the trifling matter of our impending doom. Okay. Falling apart at the seams. My eyes are really itching. Why? I don't know. Okay. Excuses while we try to make some headway into these books. Okay, Armin. More company should be arriving any moment. More reading. We've returned with our selections. Though I must say the pickings were quite slim indeed, Mistress Krile has already flicked through every history book devoted to disasters, and more than a few which barely made mention of them. As such, we will be looking into research papers of the Umbral calamities as well as articles written by prominent foreign members. Perhaps their knowledge of the final days come from an unexpected source. Speaking of which, might I ask you a few questions related to the final days? Am I the only one here who didn't witness the events of Amarat's firsthand, and fear I may be overlooking critical details? My thanks. Now the weird way begin. Where to begin? I barely remember, so please be kind. First things first, what kind of phenomenon did the ancients encounter as the final days? The complete devastation of creation, destabilization of creation magics. Primals of unrelenting power were summoned from the ether, the worst kind of phenomenon you can imagine. I think the destabilization of creation magics was it. Yes, the unfolding catastrophe wrought havoc on all manner of life. The chaos extended to the ancients themselves, causing the powers of creation to spiral out of control. Fear and despair manifested trouble in terrible, tangible fashion. Meteors raining from the sky, fire erupting from the ground, and indescribable abominations prowling the streets. More or less in line with my understanding. If only the art of creation had survived until the present day, we might have had something substantial to analyze. To the best of our knowledge, however, these techniques were not preserved or passed on. Y'shtola surmises that the closest known magic is that of the summoning ritual promulgated by the Asians. Resort else to note which herald the approach of the final days. The entire sea was engulfed by disaster. They say it began with a king. Yes, the sound from the land itself. Ah, yes, the Amaratis spoke of it, didn't they? We never did hear the sound ourselves, of course, thrust as we were into the midst of the madness. But it seems that each and every one of the catastrophes were preceded by these ominous cooties. Eventually it sounded all across the star, and not even Amarat was spared. So the ground was crying out, he said, to be considered the bringer of doom. It must have been quite distinctive and probably quite loud. I'll have to speak with the Enigma's madness to ask about the books in which make mention of such a sound. Last but not least, would you describe how the ancients sought to quell the unprecedented calamity? What defective actions did they take? They summoned EndWalker. Wait. Yeah, they summoned Zodiac. They summoned High. Yes, with Elizabeth serving as his heart, so many gave themselves to sacrifice to bring him into being. We did not know exactly how Zodiac brought the salvation of the sword of sorrow. His God, by his godlike serves most of nature's silver. Then once the balance was addressed, the ancients offered up sacrifice to heal ravages of the final days. Life sprouted anew, and it was the fledgling souls that intended to render up to some a trade that would have allowed them to resurrect the shades of loved ones absorbed by crime. Or might have had Venan and her followers not manifested their opposition to the form of God. Thank you both for the detailed review. I feel much more confident especially in my mind. It just made me wonder what to tell the truth. back in the final days. We've seen them doing with those towers of theirs is forcing people to suffer crimes kind of a catastrophic catalyst. Are they attempting to mirror the conditions caused by unstable creation magics? Or are they simply using the final basis figure of speech, convenient metaphor for the scale of destruction they plan to unleash? Sigh, but it's just pointless conjecture at this stage. Let us return to our attention to the form, shall we? We should keep an eye out for your Stola, but this time we begin studying these research papers. Or I'm the last one, am I? Well, my extended search for the occurrence stacks produce one or two possible useful books, but it won't get your hopes up. The recruit J learned the source reflection from the German Oracle for the potential to cause panic and confusion. The tones was deemed of apocryphal. I'm not going to be trying to butcher that. And sealed away for the great Gobi library. It was even less likely the knowledge of the unsundered world, not mentioned the powers of the final days, will be left sitting on a shelf for any curious scholar to find. It stands to reason that my colleagues, be they archons or counselors, should be largely ignorant of the subject. Yeah, when you confronted Master Fulcinal with knowledge of the Telephorai and their machinations, he scoffed at the suggestion that they posed a threat. He seemed adamant that the Forum would know if the final days were truly upon us, which only supports the conclusion that whatever privileged wisdom is guiding the Forum's behavior is being kept secret from the rest of the nation. Well, duh. Not that I meant to excuse myself from reading duties, whether they contain mention of final days or not. The books could yet hold something of value. You weren't thinking of leaving, were you? There's plenty of work for everyone. I'm trying to relax myself. Labor for what feels like age of soul. Oh, feels like an age of soul. Oh dear, you look exhausted. But what about your studies? Were you able to find any books on the subject I mentioned? The day is well spent. Should you wish to read them again, no mammoth, that the reference test will point you in the right direction. For the moment, though, I suggest you take a well-deserved rest. You might be occupied for our research for quite some time. Oh, wait. Gotta get him to level 85. I see that the last stand of the appears to be desperately set break. Ready for a tea break, Norman? I know I am. I'm trying to have a break as we speak. Honestly, my neck and shoulders are going to calcify if I know stretch my legs and walk around for a bit. You know the last stand down the harbor that you completely and outside table, algae, coffee. It's quite good. I can do it a caramel macchiato right by now. But these Nature Valley bars, crunchy and water will just have to suffice. On the river again. As busy as ever. I see every shop that no other gourmet cafe has sprung up to compete with customers. Fortunately, these girls will be giving me an idea before we place an order. Like, they'll be asking questions. Occasionally, I'm interested to hear what the average citizen has to say about this upright. Maybe there's something a try to say. I was like, no company, you can keep her at your side and should you see the request objectives, you can leave. I'll leave my number entering into location. This section of our way. My It is now 6:04 a.m. What is that? Can I manage a moment of your sight? Or if you're looking to share a table, and I respectfully request that you look elsewhere. You must understand, sir, it's a birthday gift to love brings and peace. Promise an end to your wait. You'll also love you, aren't you? And this man, if he was obviously a foreigner, just all by outside his intelligence, and you are true to us. I'll thank you to me. I'm going to say that. Well, I must apologize for this function made to expect, and also civility. And so enlightened. Pull on you. Yes, I don't believe it. Pray excuse the interruption, but you might share your thoughts on this appropriate question playing. My goodness, if it isn't the young Miss Lefty. My apologies, but word reach message function. I see. We're sorry we've bothered you. Chicken. Welcome, sir. What can I do today? What is that, Mistress Alize? I see that I've heard. How long has it been? Far too long. Meet Dicker, the owner of the last stand I used to frequent his cafe on occasion to be lessons in the studio. It seemed like an age ago now. I remember hearing the name myself. I set sail for Ayo, but then you never came back. They didn't let us about your father's It's complicated. I meet strangers to be so formal without situation quite so good. Everyone has an opinion on things. Well, it is how to treat Mr. Function. They have been some of your families to understand. They never stay secret. Things being they are, which brings you into the city. questions, and only a Sharlayan has the answer. Tell me, Master David, have you heard anything about the Apollo? Or for final marriage? Or to the ends of the world? Nothing like that, I'm afraid. That's what you're here to find information. Yes, whatever we can learn, unfortunately. The patrons appear to be unwilling to speak to me. I could do that. You may have their visit from Sharlayan. Then, if you know your face, we should be able to pass you off as a server. With none the wise of it. We're just finished preparing a few orders. Strike up some friendly conversation while you're settling down the food, and you might just get an answer. Not a bad idea. I hate to ask, but what do you think? That's it. Pay attention now, and I'll explain what each of these go. The tea, 7th January, sitting by the office in one of our regular Highlander by the name of Joseph. She's at the outside table. Then behind her, she sees Monty Justin. He baked lobster. Girl, if you're not sure, just ask him. Yeah, baked lobster is one of the last most famous dishes. The flavor that's said to be unfortunately so is the price. Garbage. Oh, my tea. My tea said, thank you. To love forever. I'm sorry, I've never heard of that. Or their final day. My friends and members, they come to learn to hear arcane practice. This is actually common. Is there that I'd be happy to your ear? I'll let gods above and starving. I've never known the service of meals. I have finally 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's dig in. No time to waste. The telegrapher is our museum name. That some grand claim about the end of days. Let's stay out of it, I said before we made the right choice. This was just a great At last, the big lobsters. We have no idea. Lobster totally good. Who's going to save someone to several fish? She's still looking at the menu. Final days. It's the first time I've heard that this has been rushed off his feet. It must be a busy time to be a cleaner. You don't know what a cleaner is? They're collectors of a sort. Traveling the world carrying things that we haven't got here in Charlotte. Priceless books, unusual live specimens. So named for those folks who travel trailed after the reapers in the fields, picking every grain which we missed, but by all accounts, Krile is meticulous and demanding perfection. It's too long for when they go through their audacious threats that many categorized rarities could be lost forever. But else would the cleanest be buzzing about in such a frenzy? Watch the harbor and you'll see what I mean. They're carting loads from the docks all day. It has never been this hectic before, not like this. Any trouble with the customers, we'll be able to get in talking. Interesting, they seem unaware the final days aside from whatever vague news the Gazettes are printing, even thicker than nothing's wrong. He's the best source of gossip. He does have secret knowledge that they've done an impressive job showing no resources. In any case, thank you for playing the part so well. Yes, I'm calling you Viera. Well, let's try a drink somewhere else. Shall we? Maybe we can throw a parasol away from the gossip, wagging tongues. Guess it should do nicely up and down the side.
When our father disowned us, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It wasn't until much later that his words began to sink in, that I began to feel the weight of what it meant. Do you remember when the decision was made to come to Sharlayan? Grahas said that the Forum was determined to keep us in the dark, and that Father's venomous performance was part of that strategy, to keep us at arm's length. Perhaps it was. Father argued with Grandfather on many occasions, but never with such dismissive contempt. And when he demanded what justifies the sacrifices we make in war, I honestly didn't know what to say. Neither did Alpha know, I know, but never for one moment did I believe we had made the wrong choice. So all I could do was fume silently. It was only afterwards that I realized how childish I had been, how being stubborn and self-righteous must run in the family. If I could have just mustered a civil response, then things might have turned out differently. They must be ferrying goods to Labyrinthos. A vast complex beneath the island. Sharlayan is famous for archiving knowledge from around the world. Well, that knowledge is not preserved exclusively in dusty tomes and desiccated samples. Our living library, comprised of all manner of flora and fauna, is housed and studied within that underground facility. Still, that did seem to be an unusually large shipment. When I lived here, it was rare to even see such cargo transported by boat. hear something in the last stand about the gleaners coming and going more than usual? Well, I think they're the ones we saw manning those boats. And gleaners answer to the Forum. If the appearance of the Telophoroi prompted this sudden burst of activity, then Labyrinthos may hold a clue as to what the Forum is planning.
Labyrinthos. We should tell the others what we learned about the gleaners. Go ahead to the event and I'll join you in a moment. Master Deacon will want his cupbearer. Welcome back, Armin. Been for a walk and cleared your head, have you? Not exactly, with just some impromptu investigating and turned up information on the gleaners. It makes sense the gleaners take their requests directly from the institution and bureaucrats, but as you say, they ultimately answer to the Forum. A sudden and significant increase in gleaner traffic and in large cargo certainly gives the impression of an overarching plan being put into motion. Let us see what theory can be built from the facts. As Stola observed earlier, the Amendment archives appeared to contain no information concerning the final days, coupled with what Armin and Alizé learned in the last stand. We can't be completely sure that most Sharlayans know nothing particular period in ancient history. Yet my father and his colleagues are only familiar in the final days, but are somehow certain that the destruction being perpetuated by the Telophoroi is wholly unlike this apocalyptic event. However, the Forum claims to be so occupied by doing such pressuring importance that they say fit to unanimously deny anyone's use of request for aid. This reading is making me sleepy like it did last time. Now the gleaners, official agents of the state, have been mobilized on an unprecedented scale. I don't think it's a stretch to conclude that the gleaners recent activities are in service of the Forum's secretive ends, at which our next course of action seems obvious. We visit around Labyrinthos and assess a situation for ourselves in which will be far more receptive to our questions. Fine idea. What should we expect down there? Anything would be better than buying my head. Burying my head. I would hate to spoil the surprise. As for myself, there are a few more subjects I'd like to research
May I join you later? But feel free to leave behind your borrowed books, and be on your way. I'll see that each is returned to their proper place.
That would be great. Thank you, Krile.
Let's head down to the stairs over there, and I'll show you where the entrance is.
Halliday's gonna follow us. Ready, left, right, not too far. Check the right path. Just to not take the fences. Stay close. Okay, follow Halliday. She went too late. Hold really good. And then she's gonna leave a mark. It's pleasant. Now we can try to keep up. Keep to the path straight. Cross this bridge. Okay. Cross further door down the stairs. To the shop right there, didn't you? Make your life much easier. Come back in a hurry, otherwise we should keep. I already attuned to everything. Finished it last. We're all here now, yes. Take delivery of secure permission for our bearers to send right here. Or to the lift in town. To the lift.
Deep beneath the scholar's city shines a false sun within a fabricated sky. In any age exist those who consider the floor an extension of their bookshelves, and this vault's architects surely belonged to that special breed. If the stack grows too high, start a new one. If no room remains, then make more rooms. A simple solution at first, and then bit by bit, a profound transformation. Knowledge buried beneath knowledge, a growing, creeping labyrinth from which there is no escape.
Not what you expected. I must admit, the artifice is very convincing. But I assure you that we are beneath Sharlayan itself. The breeze you feel, the flowing waters you hear, all created by the hand of man.
The island is volcanic, you see, and once upon a time this great hollow must have been a reservoir for magma. It was discovered some 400 years ago, at which point it was repurposed as a storage facility for scrolls and samples and such. Renovations have continued, with nigh on no interruption to this day, with the lower levels still undergoing expansion.
Aren't those people gleaners?
Aye, judging by their dress. They are said to work alone as a rule, but 'twould seem that rule is being enthusiastically broken today. It may be as you suspected, that they are engaged in a task apart from the norm.
Let's spread out and get some answers then.
Ugh. Did you call to me just now? No. How odd. I must be a bit dizzy from the descent. I'll be fine, I'm sure. Let's get to work, shall we?
Ah, that mound. I love that mound. I want that mound.
2 pairs of Pegasus. I really need to get my mentor situation together. Completely on my main. You want to know what we're doing? Hauling books and or and fauna. If it needs hauling, I haul it. Easy, just easy. Everything easy. Every decorator stuff. They take a stock and can number of those. And sort and tidy the inventory. Never seen an operation like this before though. They just did one a few summers ago even. Without warning at all. This mess gets dropped in our labs and orders from the hive. Damned if I know the reason. Could be they were changing the layout today, perhaps preparing for the next big expansion. Your exchange with Dobbin has taught you about taking stock in non-rentals. Exchange with TFS one other large siblings. That's my dude. Very well. You're gonna help or give more headaches because you don't have the look of bleeding. My colleagues was so exhausted he took a tumble and crashed into a pile of crates. Now I have to pack the mammoths
running loose. Your exchange with Ernville has taught you about the exhausted leaders. Is he taller than me? Ever so slightly. I think he's taller than me. She might be just slightly tall. She said, creatures he knows to conversation. In the meantime, turn my charms, one thing can't compare to after the time. Specialist collection of live specimens. That's at the caption. Next, and is a draw. I have no desire to repeat puzzling mice. For mercy, they're more than other mammal species. It's a tiered present, so there should be no mistaking. Our little fugitive, if you happen to catch any, stuff them in the sack. Gently. So we can have seen Skip so searching the surroundings. There would be some resemblance to the mammoth only. Searching the trees and hills. Get in my back. Prepare for its speed so you see the growth of the sun. Good. You see so, later, put from cage. Thankfully, he never seemed to be isolation. Habitat. It's a good thing. So swiftly. You have my back. Okay, it's task is task you capture the map. Officials consumption easy to those two conditions I was given from the stock cards and charts. No forms of languages could just because I doubt they were certain today. Interesting company you keep, friend. Are you fucking I'm proud to hear about that city. These others are my associates. Truth be told, the forum's decision made us sad entirely with us. That's all the same time with us. See those decisions went into action, but still wasn't wise practice. Never to try and make perspective different. Duty calls, others caption, just to empty. Once again, I'm sorry that I cannot provide services. Did you learn anything about anything from any friend? So we've confirmed that the order of this ambitious operation did indeed come from the forum. The news have not been informed of its purpose. I say that this fits with everything we've heard so far. We've also discovered that when the operation had begun, the forum contacted the Gleaner's guild ship and put the people to this great work some 4 days after the Telefori made their chilling declaration. A seasoned traveler, the Gleaner's captain, across the universe from every corner of the world with necessities. Thus, I am inclined to trust that this calendar of events altogether just the impression that they would take place. Yet I find it to believe that such a complex, constructed labyrinth of ends or eyes could have been planned in some seems likely, but let us not leap to conclusions. For the moment, I suggest we conduct a wider investigation of the phones, the modified facilities, using the more pieces of the puzzle we seem to find. In that case, how? We had to from there we can move slowly. Fine, truly, the sudden descent has left me a bit mad at that. Nothing that will stop me from soldiering on. Let's be about it then. At least allow me to take the lead. I'm fairly certain I'm the way to the Archie. We followed the path east into the forest and were chasing after that mouse man when it was anyway. This trolls you. Tis the trolls you'll need to watch out for. As Liam says, Liam inserted the Shawnee's elaborate archives of death instructions to adapt the architecture to similar to the buildings you see. No entrance on this is a point. Within those vast rooms of storage, samples of specimens. I'm describing them in a manner of speaking. The Urkin contains a physical history of Sharlayan's unwavering dedication to the accumulation of knowledge.
exclusive the Arcane Vaults. Reuse your clean non-cleaners and minor acts for your affiliation. You belong to the students about that scene, but is that relevant? I was given to believe that the vaults were open to the public, at least were open to the public. Ordinarily, yes, that would be the case. At present, however, access is restricted. Only persons directly involved in the reorganization effects are permitted to enter. Not us, then. I suppose we had better move along to another facility. This building has a lift which connects to the middle tier, yes? Might we at least make use of it? That service has also been suspended, I'm afraid, for the time being. Priority has been given over to the this is just with inconvenience, please come again after restructuring functions complete. That time, too late, but we were so close to getting answers. We need to rethink the approach. Let us step outside for a moment, shall we? Sounds about that. As we have no other communication left to pursue this, but I doubt that our stone face can solve this way. If our ways, we must seek another means to access the rooms. Just likely that we will carry on the restructuring to enter see ourselves. Let us speak. Ask him to show me something strong back to
fair shot. Nicely done. Let me truss this one up, and I'll make my way over to you.
There you are. Any new revelations?
So you met with that gleaner again, this time to capture a hornbill. I understand catching and bringing in creatures from the outside, but what's the point of chasing after ones already here?
Oh, it's a simple thing, really. Occasionally, we remove specimens no longer needed for study, or those we've had difficulty raising. But we can't simply turn them loose. Safely returning such creatures to their native habitats is another facet of a gleaner's duties. But not in this case, I'm afraid. I've been asked to bring the bird below.
The restricted section in the lower levels of Labyrinthos. Open only to a select few researchers handpicked by the Forum. The projects down there are the subject of rumor and hearsay. Forbidden magics. Advanced technologies that can never be allowed to fall into outside hands. Even Archons are not privy to the truth. Those who are, the researchers involved in this secretive work, are not permitted to walk freely in the city, and are instead required to live in isolated quarters.
What could a facility subject to such strict security protocols possibly need with a hornbill? An experiment?
Possibly. I wasn't afforded an explanation. But judging by the requisition list given to me and my colleagues, I doubt it's for any kind of advanced research. I'd be more inclined to believe we were making preparations to migrate to the south. Mericidia or thereabouts.
What? Why would you say that?
Much of the flora and fauna we were asked to procure could serve as reliable sources of sustenance. They're comparatively hardy species, too, able to endure harsh climates. And among them are specimens known to be effective in improving soil quality and purifying water.
When you put it that way, migration does sound like a reasonable assumption.
That's all it is, though. An assumption. Through our tasks, we gleaners glimpse only bits and pieces of the Forum's plans. Our prime concern is that our requisitions, be they living or otherwise, are properly preserved for the knowledge of future generations. Now, I really must be going. I regret that I cannot reward you as you deserve.
Perhaps you might reward us after a fashion, then. It is imperative that we reach the lower levels. And seeing as you are already set to descend with your assigned cargo, mayhap we could accompany you as your assistants.
I'm afraid that won't be possible. Once the animals have been prepared for transport, we send them down separately via the lift. I will, of course, follow after to make my report, but I can hardly pass you off as porters when there's nothing left to carry.
Indeed. Pray forget I said anything.
How do you feel about climbing? If you've strength and the courage to brave it, then there is another way down. This path leads to the 33rd facet, a mine shaft excavated during one of our expansions of Labyrinthos. While I cannot guarantee that the passage is safe to traverse, it should provide access to the medial circuit below.
I never even knew such a place existed. Thank you. This is the perfect solution.
You're quite welcome, but consider yourselves warned. If the going proves too treacherous, you'd do well to turn back. I bid you good day.
Well, turning back is hardly an option, not when we've come this far. Let's go and take a look at this mine shaft.
This must be at the entrance to the mine shaft. It is faint, but I hear something inside creatures. Home there. Bother researchers, you think? Well, slavering piece aside, we have the need to watch our footing. We should tighten our straps and such before we continue. Assuming everyone's tightening their straps and check their gear, then I said we go. We said we had given the terrain inside. Ahead, though, it might be wise to leave some distance between us. We don't want to be stumbling over each other. If it comes to a fight, take it slow. Don't forget to check our surroundings from time to time. We can meet up again with other people time.
consequence at least, and as far as the tunnel has delivered us to the medical circuit. As I recall, this tier is keeping biomedical samples for agricultural production. If Irma's assumption holds true, that specimens are being collected in preparation for immigration, then we should see evidence of such plans in the nearest research project. Let's follow the path to the nearest farm facility and see what we see. This is host to a wide variety of vegetation which allows us to conduct studies on cultivation methods and lands. This facility which coordinates and oversees those efforts to fruits their research into so I hear. Oh no, since I take egg, so is hardness against the energy. Contains serious vegetation without realistic nutrition. These medicine tissue and senses it is possible they know something about the forms of land. Yeah. Source and some conditions here, everything is so perfect. Hardly surprising given the nature of the particular location is a very place of which the lab thrives was to the region to the south of Islam in both diversity allowing flora fauna to thrive. True, significant others of temperature plants, which in turn transition to It's the before. Looking at it, it looks real big. It's a really big spot. It's really big spot. Oh, snap. Not that I can find.
Hard to look away, isn't it?
Same last bit of gameplay. Use closes.
But they're more than pretty flowers. Heart blooms are attuned to ambient emotion. You don't seem convinced, but believe me, it's true. This ashen grey, for instance, it mirrors the anxiety and urgency of those working nearby as they rush to fulfill sudden orders. Intense feelings like those spur the petals to change colour. Bright glowing hues in the presence of joy, dark subdued shades for frustration or despair. Yet even with the collected wisdom of Sharlayan at our disposal, we've yet to identify the underlying principle of this empathic effect. And there are other mysteries besides. Although the flower is extraordinarily long-lived, its low reproductive rate has made it difficult to find younger populations growing in the wild. With too few sightings to map its distribution, and no closely related species to track, we've been unable to pinpoint its land of origin. To further complicate matters, every culture, even dimly aware of its existence, has given it a different name and mythos. Our attempts to study it via the historical record have been an exercise in frustration.
I know what it is.
As an avid botanist myself, I should one day like to unravel the Heartbloom's secrets. But I'm afraid other duties must take precedence. I will leave you to your thoughts.
I can't wait till we get to that part where we see that flower in full bloom. A huge population.
Have you learned aught of interest? A flower that reacts to one's feelings? Strange. I must say, I have never heard of such a thing.
This is all very fascinating. But as it stands, we've failed to gain any significant insight into the Forum's undertaking.
Indeed. While there is certainly enough activity to support Erenville's supposition that a priority has been placed on improving food production, unfortunately for our investigation, these workers were never informed as to how their duties serve the master plan.
If only we could interrogate the Forum members directly. Isn't that the entrance to the Archaeum? Look, there. I think that's Erenville.
A little difficult to tell from here, but I think you're right. He did say he was coming down to make his report.
Erenville receives his orders from the Forum. Would it not follow, then, that the superior to whom he reports is a Forum member, or at least a close associate?
You mean to eavesdrop on their conversation? What of the risks?
I don't.
Ours alone to bear. We won't interfere with Erenville's work, nor will he be implicated as an accomplice. If you're not comfortable taking part, I can do this alone.
Nay. I said myself that I wished to know Father's intentions. And no answers will be forthcoming should we simply ask nicely.
We can apologize later, should it come to it. Right now, we need every crumb of information we can get our hands on.
Consequences be damned.
It might be best if you came along as well. In fact, we should all... Krile?
Oh, yes. That certainly sounds like a plan.
I'm glad you agree.
Quickly! Erenville is on the move. We need to get closer before we lose him.
Almost. I can almost reach you.
Is Krile still feeling unwell? I've never seen him so distracted. Keep an eye on her, but keep moving too. We cannot let our quarry slip away. Erenville is headed toward the westward, along the path outside the Archon. Come, we still catch him. Hold the moment, I have an idea. If memory serves me, the colossal wall-like structure is Logostone Beta, Logisticon Beta, one of the Labyrinthos climate control centers. Should have its own lift, which one could access the upper and lower tiers. If I were an agent, the form would make for a convenient place. We happen to find Erenville in the company of said agent. We cannot expect them to reveal issues or report to us, as we nonchalantly stroll past. Nay, we shall have to remain undetected, if only for our high vantage spell. We're here. Oh, but there's another way to turning invisible. Hippity hop, my little penguins. Goodness. Unaccustomed to transformation, worry not, it'll wear with the passage of time. I suggest you and your green companions hop along and catch up with Erenville. Should you feel the magic fading, return to me, and I will refresh the enchantment. What am I to do when we're done? Wait here with me in the current state of mind. In your current state of mind, you'd be likely to leap into the jaws of a predator as you learn anything of normal. Which reminds me, where have the creatures here evoking the form? You are essentially defenseless. Change your total soldier must remain in transformation on orders of immune busy discussing objectives. You are returned transform status if you have moved too far away. Look at the map of transformation areas. Speak with Shell to respond to long transformation. Ribbit. Yamamoto, now let's tell company to keep him aside. Yes. Let's go. And my jungle bro. Oh, no, that's the transformation. Turns his face in love. Perhaps she suggests across the bridge. Attempts to fails to shake his head, but nonetheless understand that he's telling you the truth, but nevertheless understanding he's telling you this is the wrong way. I'm mad at my koala. That is so cute. Oh, I need to snap a photo. It's so cute.
I trust you will find your compensation to be more than satisfactory. We wish to make clear that we are pleased with the efficiency and thoroughness of your work. So much so that we have come bearing new tasks in need of your competent hand.
Another lengthy list. If I may speak frankly, the Gleaners have been pushed to the point of collapse by your unending demands. We are not familiars to be exploited. We are Sharlayan scholars, and we deserve an explanation for this unseemly treatment. What warrants such urgency?
In an age long past, Sharlayan was charged with a momentous duty. And now that word of the final days hangs heavy in the air, the time has come for us to fulfill that charge. I can say no more, but I promise you this. All will be revealed in due course. And when it has, you will understand that your toil was in service to the greatest good.
Then I will do your bidding. For now. But unless you wish the Gleaners to rise up in protest, I advise you to offer tangible improvements for our working conditions. Your promised revelation does nothing to address present circumstances.
A fair point. Your concerns will be conveyed to the Forum.
I hope that was informative. You may consider my debt to you repaid in full. While I do have my reservations about the Forum, I want to believe that they have our best interests at heart. Which is why I'm reassured that you're busy sniffing out the truth of things. We can ill afford to place all our eggs in one basket, this master plan of theirs, without first understanding the risks involved.
Wait! How did you know it was us?
If you mean to impersonate a toad, try studying the real thing. And don't try to fool an expert.
That's my dude, always like to. I suppose we should have known a cleaner who specializes in animal procurement would not be so easily deceived, yet he seemed inclined to put his trust in us all the same. More importantly, perhaps, we've discovered a new piece of the puzzle. This momentous duty, the Forum age you mentioned. Sharlayan has been called to action, so love for his declaration was the catalyst, whatever charge it is that they hope to fulfill the demon to sufficient import to disrupt the labyrinthos, not to mention ignore a user's request. What duty could warrant the direct involvement of the Forum and the commitment of his own research, judging by what we've heard? None of the Gleaners were offered any kind of explanation, and at the point it seemed abundantly clear that they were learning nothing new by pressing them further. We should head back to your stolen crowd and see what you think of this. Keep working about it. My favorite parts are coming up. How far off am I? Level reach. Not bad. Level 30, level 30, level 85. Like sometimes I like that. Theory is which unhelps. Welcome back, I just found out. Interesting, got a feeling we learned something of the more, even if there's something for simply confirmation that no one knows. Which I think we should share this with someone find her back at the farm. She said Ali, so I made her return. I stay perhaps not the best decision in hindsight. Oh, would you mind checking near the flowers? She was so entranced by them, so I was considering no more distant areas just in case she decided to wander.
fluid so I can get my current to current. Y'all just go with me. I'm skipping all of this as quickly as possible. Skip, because I know what's going to happen next. Come on. All the way back there. But we're not going to do that right now.
For you. The spell will keep it from wilting. She said you would need it for the journey ahead. Will you speak with her now? I cannot hope to match Minfilia's clarity, of course, but...
Thank you. Do not worry. She has lent me her body for only a moment. Just as I could not save the first from the flood of light, it has become arduous for me to interact with the physical world without assistance. Though I might converse with you for a time, the incorporeal form I assumed on the ship would be incapable of casting even the simplest enchantment. It is in the depths of the ethereal sea, the place to which all life returns, where my influence is greatest. After Minfilia's sacrifice on the first, it was to the sea, here in the source, where I ferried her soul. I wished that gentle spirit to find rest in the world she loved so well. Her, and another who may yet have a part to play, though that will depend on you. Take the flower, walk free, for you are free, to go where you wish, to believe what you will. That bloom will be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. In darkness, seek joy. Surrender not to sadness, and see beyond despair. Walk free, and bear the light for others to follow. Together, raise it aloft and let it shine, till the end, blinding and radiant.
That was all too brief. Already she seems so far away. My apologies if I startled you. Ever since we began our descent into Labyrinthos, I had sensed another's will, straining to reach out. Even with my particular talents, though, I was unable to make a connection at first, so weak and tenuous it was. Once I took hold of that wispy thread, imagine my surprise to discover it was Heidelin herself. Needless to say, it seemed wise to learn what we could before letting go. Her answers were more cryptic than I would have liked, but at least she left us with a guide of sorts, that unusual flower. Yes, we are definitely making progress.
You can't be serious! We've done nothing wrong!
Master Fortuno? What business has the Forum with us?
Obstruction and suppression, apparently.
Mistress Baldessian, our records show you facilitated the Scions' entrance into Sharlayan by claiming them as assistants for your organization. We are aware of your investigations. After alerting the major institutions to the presence of potential troublemakers, we received word from an Archean custodian, a group operating under the auspices of the students, skulking about Labyrinthos and engaging in clandestine behavior.
Clandestine? We may not have entered Sharlayan as Scions, but we did naught to conceal our identities. Our only purpose in this city is to seek the truth. I can think of no reason why our actions should warrant the Forum's intervention.
'Tis not our way to discourage the pursuit of knowledge, but the timing of such pursuits must be considered, not to mention their potential impact. With the world in chaos, we, the true caretakers of wisdom, have committed ourselves to an undertaking that demands the utmost discretion. And we will not risk its success by turning a blind eye to disruptive foreign elements in our midst.
What, then, is to be our fate? Will you put us on a ship back to Eorzea?
The Forum will convene to examine your case. The results of said inquiry will determine your future in this city. As for your absent companion, he has already been detained.
Graha! But why? Is reading a crime now, too?
Reading is encouraged, celebrated even. Not, however, of the volumes shelved in the restricted section of the library.
Refusing to comply will only make matters worse. Let us instead treat this as an opportunity to open a dialogue with the Forum.
Silence is often one's best defense. I would advise against prolonging the proceedings with frivolous discourse. But enough. This is not the place for debate. The rostra await.
Forgive me. I was careless.
We would have been detained regardless. This way, at least, We managed to stay together. I trust your time within the Forbidden Archives was well spent.
The Forum will come to order. This inquiry is now in session. As Speaker-elect, I will be presiding over the day's proceedings. Master Fortuner, would you be so kind as to restate the matter which compelled you to summon your colleagues with such urgency?
As you are all aware, we recently denied Eorzea's request for Sharlayan assistance. Since then, certain individuals dissatisfied with our decision have taken it upon themselves to interfere with our work. They entered our nation masquerading as associates of the students of Baldesion. But these malcontents are better known as the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. These militants wield influence with both the Eorzean and Eastern alliances, and are inextricably involved with the crises presently afflicting the world at large. Loose in our city, these warmongers sought to meddle with and expose matters of state secret. What are they, if not a dire threat to be expelled?
You have tarnished the good name of the students. Galuf would be ashamed.
Galuf Baldessian was never one to forsake his fellow man. Even if this nation closed every door and retreated from the world, he would have found a way to help the Scions, help every soul of this star fight back against the coming doom.
A terrible enemy stands poised to lay waste to all we hold dear. In the face of such madness, Eorzea reached out to Sharlayan, a respected ally, in the hopes of forming a united front. Was your curt dismissal truly the best you could offer? Or are you so preoccupied with your momentous duty of an age long past that even the end of the world is unworthy of your attention?
Whence came this revelation?
From the mouth of a Forum member within fortuitous earshot.
Then it seems your findings support my own. The reason I visited the restricted shelves was to study records of the Forum's policy-making process, to better understand the historical trends underlying their most major decisions. At first glance, the positions of neutrality in war and the accumulation of knowledge above all else appear constant and consistent, the unchanging pillars of Sharlayan society. And once upon a time, I might have left it at that. These days, however, I am more attuned to the subtleties of governance, and so I noticed something odd. From a particular point in time, the purpose of these policies shifted. No longer was knowledge preserved for the benefit of society. Rather, society was to be gradually reshaped to ensure the preservation of knowledge. The most conspicuous and telling change was the one which befell Labyrinthos. Once little more than an oversized storehouse, an enormous allocation of funds saw it transformed into an advanced research and archival facility. I also discovered a fascinating account on the finances of our Dravanian colony. The settlement attracted students from far and wide, and the connections and tuition fees thus acquired were funneled into further improvements for the archives. Now, there is no question that our nation's progress is tied to the acquisition of wisdom. Nevertheless, the vast resources diverted for this purpose borders on the obscene. But returning to the matter of when, our change in course appears to have been made some 270 years ago.
The very same period when Sharlayan scholars in the hinterlands began a formal study of the ethereal sea. You found something, did you not? And whatever it was, gave rise to your oh-so-important duty.
Mind your tongue, Archon. If you had seen...
Yes. We are bound by a duty we cannot ignore. Knowing this, what would you have us do? Abandon our vital work and join you on the field of battle? We will never choose the way of the sword. We will fulfill our mission, not through strife and bloodshed, but survival. Come what may, we shall live on. We must.
Do as you must, then. But we Scions will fight until the heavens fall, until our last breath.
Such misguided zeal.
Father, Master Fortuno, I fail to understand the stance you have elected to take. But by the same token, I have yet to find a compelling argument to counter the challenge you put to us in Gridania. Still, in the midst of my uncertainty, I must trust in myself to do what is right, as others have chosen to trust in me. So I will continue, as I always have, weighing the consequences of my every action, and allowing my hope for the future to inform my decisions.
That's quite enough. Have you all forgotten the reason for this assembly?
Skolok Monteshane. He's the head of the Studium and an old friend of my grandfather's.
Honestly, every discussion devolves into some interminable debate. Terrible habit. Let's return to the topic at hand, By their own admission, these Scions have resolved to fight alongside the Eorzean nations against the doom which swift approaches. But there exists no evidence of an attempt to incite our citizens to do the same. Furthermore, while our decision may well have been the correct one, we cannot simply bull our way through these disagreements without inviting doubts or objections. Put yourselves in their place. Who among you would leave a tome unopened if an elder forbid you read it with no reason given? No. If we're to quell further discontent, then we must conclude this matter with a fair and even hand.
Order! We will have order!
Master Monteshane raises some valid points. Keeping such concerns in mind, I propose we enforce the following measures. Until further notice, the students of Baldesion are to cease any and all activities within the domain of Sharlayan. You will also refrain from any further investigation into the Forum's decisions and duties. Failure to comply with these restrictions will result in the immediate expulsion of your Scion associates. Let us put this judgment to a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. I count 51 for and 48 against. The proposal is passed. Students, Scions, you have heard the Forum's judgment. Pray abide by it, or face the consequences. Honored members, I thank you for your time. This inquiry is concluded.
However, struggle to learn more origins of substance in Sharlayan. I'm so close to 85, but I'm going to pretty much end it here and pick up that quest when I come back. So if you've made it to this point in the story, I definitely appreciate you being here. Thank you for making it to this point. And hopefully you stick around and catch the rest of it, because there's so much more to be done. Yeah, definitely. I'm still excited. The next quest I'll pick up, I'm going to pick up from Alizé, but I'm going to pick up the quest from Thancred. So we'll be heading to Lab here, so definitely take care of that. So I'm just going to walk out there. Thank you for joining and watching. Please subscribe and you're part of the squad. And if you do, hit that notification bell so you can be on top of the videos that I post up. So Final Fantasy material like The Sims or any of my trainings videos. So hopefully you're down for that. As always, I'm your host, Justin.